My question is, dear Viola, do you see actually any attempts of some groups or people, or even, I don't know, groups affiliated maybe with Russia to undermine military aid to Ukraine in Europe, in European Union as well?
Well, of course, Russia has set up a huge network of different, let's say, enablers and aids and supporters. And if you go through the German media, if you go through different social media, you see a lot of people asking for lifting sanctions, cooperating better with Russians, even certifying Nord Stream 2, asking for the lower gas prices. I mean, there are a lot of groups, as you said, fake journalists, blogs, platforms. There's a big network behind that. And what we have seen, it's not just true, or not only true for Germany, but they're very active in different other capitals as well. And yes, of course, we need to, let's say, work with the facts. And there are some fact checkers, and there are some journalists who try to detect that. And we, of course, come with arguments why this is absolutely crucial now to send military aid to Ukraine. But in some ears, especially in Germany, it sounds very temptative and very attractive to say, come on, why should we send weapons? And maybe we should rather focus on the social vulnerable groups in Germany rather than military in Ukraine.
So this actually what I would like to find out. So what is the narrative of that people who oppose providing Ukraine with military aid? What is their main narrative?
Well, the narrative is we have problems here in Germany. We have problems, I don't know, in other member states of the European Union. Why should we give money to military when we need to fix our problems here first? Does it make a difference? Weapons have never made a difference in a war. Why should we prolong a war? So all these narratives, which are very cynical, if you think, because that would mean Ukraine doesn't exist anymore, and Russia had already won this war. But they don't care. They've never been to Ukraine. They don't care about Ukrainians. They don't care about security. They don't understand this narrative of imperialistic revanchism from Putin's side. So yes, it is extremely, I would say, not just disappointing, but really, really irritating. But for now, I mean, we see that the majority of people, 75% in Germany, would support Ukraine even if the circumstances become more difficult. So I think more, let's say, ordinary citizens are ready to support Ukraine than sometimes you hear from politicians.
What is your personal position towards military aid to Ukraine? Actually, is this enough, or your country, Germany, could and should even do more?
No, I think we should all do more. We see that it is a very, very critical situation where Ukraine is right now. We see how many casualties at the front line, but also around civilians. This is absolutely not acceptable. We could provide you with heavy weapons, with tanks, with armed vehicles, transport vehicles, and so on, and with more multi-rocket thrower or whatever this category is called. And I do not see a reason why we are so reluctant, so cautious, so late, and why especially the German chancellor looks for more and more excuses not to give certain types of weapons to Ukraine.
Big discussion here in Ukraine, and actually a big discussion among Western countries, is to provide Ukraine or not with aviation. I will tell you why I'm asking, because the problem we have with that cruise missiles is that they operate on the low height and they are unseen to the Ukrainian anti-missile systems. And our experts here in Ukraine saying that one of the instruments which could help us to oppose, to counter those cruise missiles is the presence in the air of the Western interceptors planes, sort of F-15E American one or F-16 or something like that. But there are different positions of different politicians towards this issue. What is your personal position? Should Ukraine be provided with the Western aviation as well?
I can't tell you anything. You rather have to ask military experts on that. I have no idea why. I mean, whether this triggers something else in the Russian military, I don't know. I never understood why we said from the very beginning that we would not give aircrafts and fighter jets to Ukraine. But as I said, I'm not an expert. You have to talk to more experienced people here, I'm afraid.
It's clear. Thank you for this part.